After the Blue Jays' first blockbuster move of the offseason in acquiring Anthony Santander, they're now in on another few big names that could address some big issues that this team has. So we'll break down those targets and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and the Toronto Blue Jays have been one of the more intriguing storylines as a whole in this offseason, and for the most part, for the wrong reasons. I mean, missing out on marquee free agents, finishing as the bridesmaids for multiple different free agents. I mean, it's just been a whirlwind of emotions for the Toronto Blue Jays and their fans, and just over the past couple of off seasons, it's been a treacherous journey. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subbed to the channel, so it'd mean the world to me if you could help get me to 3,000. But let's not waste any time, guys. Let's get straight into it. And this is the thing that I wanted to get to here, because it is not something that I expected. Now, Toronto is probably the most likely team for Max Scherzer at this point. And then this was John Heyman talking about this on MLB Network, and he also added that Scherzer does want to play for a winner. Adding Pete Alonso could be the domino that convinces him to sign with the Blue Jays. Now, I don't know what kind of relationship he has with Pete Alonso specifically, but I know that they did play together on the Mets, so maybe that sense of familiarity could help Max Scherzer in a decision here. But Scherzer is an interesting piece here, and I'll give you a reason why. Now, I know he's old and he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but for a one-year deal, it could act as a perfect stopgap option for the Toronto Blue Jays, who have three guys in the minor leagues that I could see starting games for them as soon as next year. Trey Savage, Ricky Tiedemann, if he is back and healthy, and then ultimately Jake Bloss, who they got as the headliner in the return for the Yusei Kikuchi trade with the Houston Astros. So there are some options that the Blue Jays are going to be looking at past this season, and I ultimately think that they want to move Yariel Rodriguez to the bullpen as well. So you want to get a starter, but you don't want to spend big money on a starter. I understand that, because there are some other options that you're looking to have develop. I mean, this is a one-year thing for the Toronto Blue Jays right now. They need to maximize whatever they can get out of this group for this season. That is the number one priority. And then you worry about 2026 next offseason. I think that's so far away right now that you owe it to these players, and I mean, you owe it to yourselves if you're Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro to just go for it this year. You have no other choice. I don't think you're going to be brought back if you have another miserable season on your hands. So for that reason, you go get Anthony Santander. You go get Pete Alonso. You go get Jurickson Profar. You go get whoever the hell helps make this team much better. And I think Scherzer and Pete Alonso help make this team significantly better. I don't know how much Scherzer has left in the tank. Not much from the last time I saw him pitch, but he is a vet, and he does have playoff experience, and he has shown the ability to really ramp up as the season goes along. So if he can stay healthy, I think it would be a stroke of genius if the Blue Jays were able to acquire him. And then Pete Alonso, I mean, what more can be said about him? It's another power hitter for a team that has struggled to hit home runs in the past couple of years. Over the past 3 seasons, Pete Alonso has 120 home runs to his name. That is a really good number, and that is a number that would help further solidify this Toronto Blue Jays lineup, who added Anthony Santander, which was a much-needed addition, in my opinion. And then Mark Feinsand saying that they're in on Pete Alonso and Jurickson Profar. So Jurickson Profar is another guy who had a career year last year. At 31 years old, once was a top prospect in Major League Baseball, never really panned out. He was a shortstop, then a second baseman. I think he's really found a home in left field now, which has helped his production. So Jurickson Profar is an interesting name, and I think could be the leadoff hitter for this Toronto Blue Jays team. I think that would make perfect sense as well. And then we go further down the list. I mean, According to Hector Gomez, he's saying the same thing. They want to land one of Alonso or Profar. If you ask me which player I'd rather have, fit-wise, I think Profar fits a lot better. I think Alonso addresses a more desperate need for the Blue Jays in terms of power. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Pete Alonso. But I would get both. If that's a possibility, I would get both. Now, the Blue Jays have shown that they're willing to spend this offseason. They've gone above a couple of tax thresholds. So who knows? I think that they truly have an unlimited budget here and they can go as deep as they want to. But let me know in the comments down below. If you had to pick 2 out of 3 guys between Scherzer, Alonso, and Profar, who would you pick? Who would your selection be? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all tomorrow.